The most haunting confessions don't come from prison cells or therapy couches. They come from deathbeds. I wish I hadn't waited so long to start living. This sentiment echoes through hospital rooms and hospice centers with chilling regularity. The businessman who postponed joy until retirement, only to die 6 months after getting his gold watch. The woman who kept delaying her dreams until the right time, until time itself ran out. The countless souls who realized, much too late, that they'd been standing at the station while their train was already moving. You're doing it right now, aren't you? Waiting, postponing, telling yourself that your real life, your authentic life, is just around the corner. After the degree, after the promotion, after the relationship, after the kids grow up, after you lose the weight, after you make the money. This isn't just poor planning. It's a psychological defense mechanism, one that protects you from the anxiety of the present by projecting fulfillment into a hypothetical future. It feels rational, even responsible. But make no mistake, it's one of the most insidious forms of self-sabotage the human mind has devised. What if I told you that this perpetual waiting isn't just costing you moments of joy, but systematically destroying your one opportunity to experience existence? That while you're making plans for some idealized future self, your actual life, the only one you'll ever have, is slipping through your fingers like sand. The dark truth is simple. You aren't waiting for life to start. You're watching it end, one postponed day at a time. So look around at your life right now. This is it. This isn't the dress rehearsal. The clock is ticking, and with each moment spent waiting, another moment of actual living disappears forever. But you've become masterful at creating these waiting points, psychological checkpoints where you tell yourself real living begins. They're as predictable as they are destructive. After I graduate, then I'll start living intentionally. 4 years pass in a blur of cramming, partying, and constantly looking toward that diploma, the supposed gateway to your real life. Then suddenly you're thrown into the workforce, and without missing a beat, your mind creates a new checkpoint. After I establish my career and get financially stable, then I can focus on what truly matters. The checkpoints multiply like a virus. After finding the right partner, after buying a house, after having children, after the children grow up, after paying off the mortgage, after retirement. What you don't realize is that these aren't milestones, they're mirages. Each time you approach one, another appears on the horizon, equally promising, equally elusive. The promotion doesn't deliver the satisfaction you anticipated. The relationship doesn't resolve your fundamental restlessness. The new city doesn't transform you into the person you imagined becoming. Psychologists call this the arrival fallacy, the belief that when you arrive at a certain destination, you'll finally be happy. But your brain isn't wired for sustained contentment after achieving goals. It's wired to continuously push the finish line forward, keeping you in a perpetual state of pursuit rather than presence. This isn't a quirk of your particular personality. It's embedded in your neurological architecture. Your brain has evolved to value anticipation over achievement, the chase over the catch. Studies show that dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward, spikes higher during the pursuit of a goal than upon its attainment. You are, in essence, biochemically programmed to remain trapped in waiting, and so the cycle continues. You defer living to some hypothetical future point when all conditions will be perfect. But that point never arrives, because your brain keeps moving the target, ensuring you remain in a state of endless postponement, sacrificing the only thing that truly matters. The present moment, which is the only moment you're actually alive. When you anticipate something, a vacation, a promotion, a relationship, your brain floods with dopamine, the same neurotransmitter released when gambling or using certain drugs. This creates a powerful high that's often more intense than what you feel when you actually achieve your goal. The anticipation of pleasure is chemically more rewarding than pleasure itself. It's a cruel evolutionary joke. You're wired to chase more than to catch. The brain evolved to keep early humans hunting, gathering, and surviving, not to be satisfied. Contentment was dangerous to our ancestors. It meant they might stop striving. So your neurochemistry developed a sinister solution: make the chase feel better than the capture. This explains why you keep pushing your life's starting line further into the future. That perpetual state of almost there delivers a steadier dopamine drip than actually arriving. You've become addicted to anticipating a life you never actually live. But there's a darker aspect to this neurological setup. Your brain's fear center, the amygdala, treats the uncertainty of the present as a threat. It convinces you that now is dangerous territory, full of potential failure, rejection, and pain. Later feels safer because it's abstract, idealized, and free from the messiness of reality. When you tell yourself, "I'll start when I'm ready," your amygdala rewards you with a hit of relief. You've avoided the perceived danger of immediate action. This creates a potent neurochemical cocktail: dopamine from anticipating future happiness, combined with the relief that comes from avoiding present risks. No wonder you're hooked on waiting. Modern society exploits this vulnerability masterfully. Consumer culture sells you an endless stream of products promising to complete your life later. Social media bombards you with carefully curated images of others who seem to have arrived, making your own present feel insufficient. The entire economic system benefits from your belief that fulfillment is just one more purchase, achievement, or relationship away. Meanwhile, your actual life, the only one you'll ever have, passes by, unlived. While you're fixated on the horizon, the ground beneath your feet disappears with each passing second. And your brain, the very organ that should help you survive, has become complicit in this slow-motion tragedy. The cost of this waiting game isn't just theoretical, it's catastrophically real. Every day spent in postponement extracts a price you can never recoup. Time is the only truly non-renewable resource you possess. You can lose money and earn it back. You can damage relationships and repair them. You can sacrifice health and potentially restore it. But time, once it's gone forever. Each moment you surrender to someday is a moment you've lost irrevocably. Consider this. If you live to 80, you'll have approximately 4,160 weeks of existence. Subtract the weeks you've already lived. Now subtract the weeks you'll spend sleeping, ill, or handling life's mundane necessities. What remains is shockingly small. Yet you continue to mortgage these precious remaining weeks to a future that may never arrive. Hospice nurses who care for the dying document a disturbing pattern in what's called life review, the psychological process of evaluating one's existence near its end. The most common regrets aren't about failures or mistakes. They're about waiting to pursue passions, waiting to speak truth, waiting to prioritize relationships over obligations, waiting to live authentically rather than according to others' expectations. One palliative care nurse documented the top 5 regrets of the dying. At the very top, "I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." The second most common, "I wish I hadn't worked so hard." These aren't just sentimental observations. They're warnings from those who have reached the finish line and realized too late what you're currently blind to. This waiting creates a cascading effect throughout your life. When you postpone joy in one area, that postponement infects everything else. The career you endure while waiting for retirement drains the energy you might invest in relationships. The relationship you settle for while waiting for the right time to be alone corrupts your self-knowledge. Each compromise made in service of later compounds into a life that becomes increasingly unrecognizable as your own. Psychologists describe this as psychological sunk cost. The more you invest in waiting, the harder it becomes to stop. You become trapped in a form of temporal bankruptcy, where each day spent postponing true living creates a deeper debt to your future self, a debt that ultimately becomes impossible to repay. The cruelest part? This isn't happening to you. It's happening because of you. Each time you say, "not yet," you're actively choosing the slow death of postponement over the messy vitality of now. And with each choice, the person you might have been fades a little more into impossibility. At the core of this waiting game lies a seductive illusion, the belief that your future self will somehow be more capable, more courageous, and more prepared than your present self. This future version of you will magically have more time, more energy, and more willpower to do what you can't bring yourself to do today. It's a comforting fantasy, but it's also a profound self-deception. The truth is that your future self is not a superhero waiting in the wings. They will wake up with the same fears, the same doubts, and the same excuses that you have right now. Only they'll have less time, diminished energy, and fewer possibilities. Every day you age, doors close that will never open again. Look at the statistical reality. Physical capacity peaks in your 20s and 30s. Cognitive processing speed begins declining in your 40s. Career mobility decreases dramatically after 50. Yet somehow, you convince yourself that the version of you existing decades from now will be better equipped to live boldly than the person sitting here right now. This creates a pathological relationship with time. You treat your present self as a subordinate, a pack animal bearing the burden of preparation and sacrifice, while your imagined future self gets to enjoy the rewards. You endure the soul-crushing job now so that future you can be financially secure. You postpone the risky conversation now so future you can have closure. You delay the adventure now so future you can enjoy it properly. But here's the cold reality. That future self is a mirage. While you're waiting for them to arrive and save you, the concrete reality of your present self, the only self that actually exists, continues to age, diminish, and edge closer to non-existence. Consider the narrowing funnel of possibility. At 20, nearly all life paths remain open. By 30, many doors have closed. By 40, your trajectory is largely set. By 50, making fundamental changes requires dismantling decades of momentum. By 60, certain opportunities are biologically, socially, and practically impossible. Yet even as this funnel narrows, your denial strengthens. You cling more desperately to the belief that there's still time to become who you might have been. This denial isn't just psychological, it's existential. To truly acknowledge the finite nature of your existence would require facing the ultimate terror, your own mortality. And so you engage in elaborate temporal distortions, imagining a future where time somehow expands instead of contracts, where options multiply instead of diminish, where the ever-shrinking remainder of your life will somehow accommodate all you've postponed, all while the clock ticks, all while the sand falls through the hourglass, all while the person you're waiting to become dissolves into impossibility with each passing day. Sometimes, reality breaks through this elaborate self-deception. A heart attack at 45, a friend's unexpected funeral, a milestone birthday with its cruel numerical clarity, a pandemic that strips away the illusion of unlimited tomorrows. These moments create psychological ruptures, brief windows where you see your life with terrifying clarity. In these wake-up moments, the veil lifts. You suddenly perceive time as it truly is, finite, irreplaceable, and rapidly diminishing. The emotional impact is devastating. People describe it as having the wind knocked out of them, or feeling like they've been sleepwalking through life. The carefully constructed fantasy of plenty of time crumbles, revealing the stark landscape of limited days that was always there beneath the comforting illusion. You've likely experienced such a moment yourself. Perhaps it was sitting in a doctor's office awaiting test results. Maybe it was watching a contemporary from college announce their terminal illness on social media. Or possibly it struck during some ordinary Tuesday afternoon, when you suddenly realized a decade had passed while you were waiting for your life to begin. For a brief, terrible moment, you saw everything clearly. You made promises to yourself. No more waiting. No more postponing. No more sacrificing today for a tomorrow that might never come. And then, almost invariably, you forgot. This pattern of awakening and forgetting is so common it deserves a name: selective temporal amnesia. It's the psychological mechanism that allows you to experience a profound realization about the preciousness of time, only to revert to postponement within days or even hours. This amnesia isn't accidental. It's a defense mechanism. To truly internalize the finite nature of your existence would require living differently, taking risks, having difficult conversations, abandoning security for meaning, choosing discomfort over regret. Your mind protects you from these challenges by allowing you to forget what you momentarily saw with such clarity. And so, the cycle continues. Wake up. Promise change. Forget. Wait. Repeat. Each time this cycle completes, something erodes within you. Each return to waiting diminishes your capacity to truly awaken. The voice that once screamed, "Live now," becomes a whisper, then a memory, then nothing at all. The ability to feel urgent about your existence, to treat your limited time as the emergency it actually is, gradually disappears. And one day, much sooner than you imagined possible, you find yourself on your own deathbed, joining the chorus of those who waited too long, who thought there would always be more time, who believed the life they wanted was always just around the next corner. Only now you realize there are no more corners to turn. But you're not on that deathbed yet. You're here, reading these words, with time still remaining on your clock. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge while it can still make a difference? Breaking free from the waiting trap requires more than inspiration. It demands a fundamental rewiring of how you relate to time, mortality, and possibility. It requires tactical psychological interventions, practical techniques to shatter the comfortable illusion that time is abundant. First, embrace what psychologists call mortality salience, the conscious awareness of your own death. This isn't morbid, it's clarifying. Research shows that people who regularly contemplate their finite nature make more meaningful choices, take more significant risks, and experience greater satisfaction with their lives. Try this. Calculate the number of days you likely have left if you live to 80. Write this number somewhere you'll see it daily. Watch how it transforms your decision-making from someday to today. Second, adopt a compressed time perspective. Most people think in years, creating the illusion of expansiveness. Instead, think in months. 80 years sounds long. 960 months sounds alarmingly brief. This shift in temporal framing creates healthy urgency. If you have roughly 400 months left, how many more can you justify spending in postponement? Third, practice preemptive regret. Before making decisions based on postponement, project yourself to your deathbed and ask, will I regret not having done this sooner? This mental time travel cuts through the convenient excuses of the present. The pain of imagined future regret often outweighs the discomfort of present action. Fourth, identify your waiting triggers, the specific situations, thoughts, or emotions that activate your postponement reflex. For many, it's fear of failure. For others, it's perfectionism or external judgment. By naming these triggers, you strip them of their unconscious power. You create space between stimulus and response, space in which you can choose differently. Fifth, commit to uncomfortable action. The waiting mindset thrives on comfort, the false security of later. Deliberately seek out the conversation, experience, or decision you've been avoiding. The emotional discomfort you feel is the sensation of actually living rather than merely existing. These techniques aren't pleasant. They force you to confront the finite nature of your existence and the consequences of continued postponement. They replace the anesthetizing comfort of someday with the disturbing urgency of now or never. They require you to feel emotions you've spent a lifetime avoiding. But consider the alternative, continuing as you have been, watching more sand fall through the hourglass, approaching your inevitable end with the most devastating realization possible, that you never truly lived while you had the chance. The uncomfortable emotions you feel now by embracing these interventions are nothing compared to the crushing regret that awaits if you continue waiting for a moment that will never arrive. Your life isn't about to start. It's already happening. It's already ending. The only question that matters is, are you finally ready to show up for it? If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Share your experience in the comments below, and let's inspire each other to stop waiting and start living. Remember, your time is running out. Make it count.